My name is Christy Marcelli. I am the Director of Development here at the ALS Association Western Pennsylvania chapter. I have been with the organization for about 10 years and been involved with our development team the entire time. So it's been a great experience for me to get to know our community and really help out where we can. So that's a little bit about me. Also presenting today will be Kelsey. Kelsey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Yes, I am Kelsey Machetta, the Director of Marketing and Advocacy with the ALS Association Western Pennsylvania chapter. I've been with the chapter for about 5 years and currently manage all of our marketing and communications as well as our advocacy program. Thank you so much for joining.
I'm going to get us kicked off and share my screen if I can here. And we're going to go through some of our events and ways that you can get involved with our chapter. Okay, so again, my name is Christy. I work with Amy Olson and Jenna McEwen. They are on our development team. We're going through some transitions. So I'm actually moving into the Managing Director of Development role. Amy's taking over as Director of Development, and then Jenna will be our Senior Development Manager. We're also hiring 2 new development personnel. So we're excited to be growing our team and be able to help even more in the future. So stay tuned as we are in the hiring process. So we'll get you all introduced to them when we make the hire. So why get involved with the chapter? I think there's many reasons why people get involved, and some of the reasons why I like to invite people to attend an event or come to a walk, it's for awareness. ALS is not a rare disease, but it's something that not a lot of people know about unless you've been personally affected. So the more people we have at our events, the more publicity we can get, the more awareness that we can spread. So the awareness is a huge part about getting involved with our chapter. Connection. When we always say, it's actually the next slide, the Walk to Defeat ALS is our chapter's largest support group. Whenever you come to an event, you can connect with other families, you can see other people that are going through a journey that's similar to yours. And sometimes that makes it a little bit easier. So the connection is a huge part of why we want to host events and invite you. And of course, fundraising. We can't do what we do in care services without your participation in fundraising. So it's really important to, like I said, the walk, the CEO soak, we'll get into all that later, but really raising the funds so that we can support all the free programs and services that we provide is essential. So the Walk to Defeat is our chapter's largest support group. Our executive director said that, and I like to say that often because it really is true. Brett, do you have any words on that one?
Yeah, the walk is actually a lot of fun. Of course, it's a lot of work too, but we always have a great time and get to see people that maybe we don't see very often. And everyone, I think they get a lot of satisfaction about helping to end this disease.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks, Brett. The walk is in any of our events. It is a way to fight back. It's a tangible way to really get involved with the mission and, you know, help us put a stop to end the ALS. So the ways to get involved, I mentioned a few already, like in attending an event. We have the Walk to Defeat ALS program that's hosted in 3 cities, Erie, PA, Johnstown, and then Pittsburgh, PA. We'll go through all the dates later. We also have a CEO Soak. It's one of our newest events and growing nationally. It is really, it's a corporate event where we're downtown in the middle of the day on a Thursday, and we invite CEOs to get soaked in the fountains of PPG in their suits. So it's really fun. One of our board members came up with the concept. about 6 years ago, and we are raising over $200,000 with this event now, and we are national with it. So several other chapters are now adopting this method and doing it in their cities, and it's raising a ton of money and awareness for the disease. It's really cool. Fun fact, the Walk to Defeat ALS also started here in Pittsburgh. I think 30 years ago. We are hosting our 30th anniversary of the Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS this year. So we're super proud of that fact. All cities, all chapters that are part of the association host a walk now, and it all started here in Pittsburgh. So pretty cool. And again, fundraising. So you can fundraise at any of these events that we discussed, or you can host your own third-party event. We would be happy to support you in any way that we can. We can help craft some marketing material for you, share it on our social media, and help publicize it, and just give you some interesting and fun ideas for you to implement at your event. So definitely reach out if you want to host your own party. And then volunteering is a big part of our organization as well. Brett is here featured with his wife, Janine. They are always willing to step up and use their story or share their story so that they can help other people understand what ALS is. So Brett, obviously we are indebted to you, and we thank you so much for all that you do for us. But we encourage people to share their stories. It is empowering to share your story with others. It's therapeutic at times, and it really does help people understand what we do and why we do it. So if you ever wanted to share your story, written form, we can do video, audio, blog, you know, whatever you want to do, we'll make sure that we're able to craft that story in the way that you're comfortable with. So just to go through our event schedule for 2022, we have a lot going on. One event I didn't mention yet is the Pittsburgh Marathon. So we are a participating charity in the Pittsburgh Marathon, and we are called Team Challenge ALS. Anybody that wants to run any of the races during the marathon can sign up with Team Challenge ALS, raise funds, and then they get a jersey. And that's what Brett's going to after this event. We host a happy hour with the team as well. So it's fun, and it's nice to be a part of such a large city event. We really get our name out there. I ran a couple of years ago. I was wearing my jersey, and it was really nice for people to be cheering me on and, you know, fight ALS, go run. It was really cool. So definitely, if you have any runners in your family, point them over to Team Challenge ALS, and we'll get them signed up for next year. That event is in May. So again, if you're recruiting anybody, we'll get them started next year. After that is going to be on May 22nd is our Community Appreciation Luncheon. So this is not a fundraising event. This is just an appreciation event for our community. We usually host this at the end of the year as our holiday party. But because of COVID, we had to postpone it, and it is now going to be on May 22nd. So we will get that invitation out to all of you. But mark your calendars because we're just getting the invitations out on Thursday. But this is a really nice event where we recap the successes of the previous year, go through all of the events, kind of give you a preview of what we're expecting in the next year. And then we present our chapter awards. Every year we give out 4 awards, Advocate of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Voice of Courage. That always goes to one of our persons living with ALS for sharing their stories and getting out in the community and raising awareness for us. And then the Above and Beyond Award, a person or company that really does go above and beyond in our community to help us spread awareness and raise funds and just do what they can to help make an impact. So we hope to see you all on May 22nd for the Community Appreciation Luncheon this year. Als Awareness Night in Erie. So last year, MLB actually made an official Lou Gehrig Day for part of their schedule. So there's a Jackie Robertson Day and a few other famous players that get their own dedication. Well, we finally have a Lou Gehrig Day, and it's all about ALS awareness and sharing his story. So The Pirates are actually going to be hosting their game on June 3rd, but on June 2nd, we will be at UPMC Field with the Erie Seawolves. So if you'd like tickets, please let us know. I think they're being sold for $10, but we'll get the contact for that. But we'd love to have you out there if you're in that area. If you're going to be in Pittsburgh on June 3rd, we invite you to come to the Lou Gehrig Day with the Pirates. It's a pretty big deal. We have free tickets for this one. So if you do want tickets, you can let us know and we'll make sure that we get that for you. We're gonna have t-shirts for everybody, kind of like the shirt that Brett's wearing today. And we're gonna really paint the stands red with ALS awareness. So we really encourage anybody and everybody to come and help make us really make an impact on that day and really get some attention stirring. The Erie Walk to Defeat ALS, one of the Walk to Defeat ALSs that I spoke about already. This is going to be the first official in-person walk. So we just launched the Erie Walk last year as its own official Walk to Defeat event. And we're really excited to be at UPMC Field again, the same place where the Lou Gehrig Day awareness is in Erie. This is where we're going to have our walk. It's at a beautiful ball field. Hoping for great weather in Erie. It's always a fun time visiting Erie. So if you're in the area, please join us. In each of our events, we host kickoff events. So the kickoffs are for the community to come and learn a little bit more about each event and how they can participate, how they can fundraise, and what to know on walk day. So if you are planning to attend either the Erie, Johnstown, or Pittsburgh Walk, I really encourage you to come to one of the kickoffs so that you can get to know the development team and staff, put a face to the name, and then start to see some of your peers that will be on walk day as well. And then that will be your kickoff to your start for fundraising and just doing how you want, creating the walk experience how you want to. That'll be your kickoff for that. So Erie Walk, June 18th, with the kickoff being on May 7th. The Johnstown Walk is on July 23rd. This is at UPJ. This is a family reunion, really. It's been going on for quite some time, not as long as the Pittsburgh Walk, but I feel that the people that started the Johnstown Walk are the same people that are joining us every year. So it's a family reunion. It's so much fun. There's always a big buffet, a basket raffle, and it's right on UPJ's campus. So it's a great time. The kickoff for that will be May 15th at Boulevard Grill. And then in August, we have our CEO soak, which I touched on a little bit before, with the CEOs getting in the fountains of PPG in their suits. This is the date for that, August 11th. And if you know a CEO or if you want to get your company involved, we can make sure to make that happen through this event. And then finally, the Pittsburgh Walk, which is our biggest event of the year, is going to be on September 10th this year. The kickoff will be on May 14th at Harp and Fiddle in the Strip. So if you want to learn more about that, please join us on May 14th. Any questions so far about any of the events? Great. So if you do want to participate in any of these events, this is the slide shows our contact information. Amy is currently in charge of the CEO Soak and sponsorships and corporate relations. So if you are trying to get your company involved or participate in the CEO Soak, please reach out to Amy. If you'd like to join any of the walks or the marathon or host your own third-party event or volunteer, Jenna is going to be your girl for that. All right. And we do have other ways of giving. I'm currently in charge of our monthly giving program. It's called the Als Allies program. And once you sign up, you get several benefits from the chapter, early access to some of the information that we're sharing. If you donate $25 or more a month, you do get a mug and other special perks like different receptions. We just had our 2021 reception last week, and that was really nice to see everybody. So just a few little perks. And if you have any other questions about donating or giving, you can reach out to me. And I think that is all I have. Kelsey, I'm going to stop sharing and then you can take it away.
Great, thank you so much. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or you can save them for the end too. We're happy to chat more about everything. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll talk about how you can get involved in advocacy. Can everybody see that? Okay, cool. I can't see you guys though.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. All right. So, everything about what you can do regarding advocacy, it's one of our mission pillars here at the ALS Association, along with research and care services. So something that we've really grown and feel very passionate about. So in a nutshell, ALS Association advocacy, the ALS Association is at the forefront of public policy, and we work to improve the lives of people living with ALS and their caregivers through both federal and state advocacy. And, fortunately for us, ALS is a bipartisan issue, so our advocacy work focuses on educating and mobilizing all policymakers in a nonpartisan fashion to achieve the mission of the ALS Association, which is to discover treatments and cure for ALS and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. So, like I said, we work at both the federal level and the state level. So we'll just cover federal first. So at the federal level, the ALS Association is aggressively advocating for legislative priorities that will help to find new treatments and cures, optimize current treatments and care, and prevent or delay the harms of ALS. And the way that we do this is we advocate for federal funding during the appropriations process, which is the federal budget, and also by having our allies in Congress help introduce bills for us. Some recent federal advocacy wins, just to put things in perspective and just show the power of advocacy. So recently, we've been able to waive the 5-month waiting period for Social Security disability insurance benefits. This was huge, obviously, given the length of time that somebody has to live with ALS, that you want those benefits, you've earned them, you need them. And so we were able to waive that entire waiting period for those living with ALS to receive their benefits. We also recently kept non-invasive ventilators out of the Medicare competitive bidding program. We've also consistently over the past few years increased our federal ALS research funding for programs both at the Department of Defense and the National Institutes of Health. And we've also maintained crucial funding for the ALS Registry and Biorepository at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I won't get into those programs, at a granular level, but if you have any interest in learning more, absolutely feel free to reach out to us. And of course, Marie and Care Services, your social worker, if you're interested in the ALS registry. So just to kind of put the timeline out there for federal advocacy, kind of a, high level look at things. Although we, do things for advocacy all year round, springtime in March is really when things start to heat up. So in March, ALS Association staff and advocates press for federal funding at what we call our annual fly-in, which hasn't quite been a fly-in in these recent pandemic years, but more of a zoom in, I'd say. But these meetings coincide with the kickoff of the appropriations process on Capitol Hill. So it's our, very first chance at getting our federal funding asks in front of Congress and for inclusion in the budget. So then from April to May, alerts are sent to ALS advocates to participate in the ALS Advocacy Action Center campaigns. And I'll say a bit more about this later and how you can get involved in that and receive these alerts. But campaigns such as having your member of Congress sign on to our Appropriations Dear Colleague letter, which is just a letter of support, for our ALS appropriations asks, which is again, that federal funding ask. And then June is really the biggest month for federal advocacy for us in terms of meetings. So staff and advocates again attend the National ALS Advocacy Conference and Hill Day meetings with members of Congress to press for federal funding and legislative asks. I'll get more into the conference in a bit here too. And then December through March, this is the time frame where we see if our priorities are voted to pass or not, and also to find out how much our programs receive in federal funding once the budget passes. So that's just kind of the general timeline for our advocacy, throughout spring and the rest of the year. So how to get involved? The first way and the easiest way to start making an impact is to sign up for ALS Action Alerts, which I'll go into on the next slide. It is seriously the easiest way that you can start making an impact. You go to a website, you fill out some information that takes a minute or two, and then you have the tools to immediately start sending letters to your members of Congress with the click of a button. And if you have Twitter, you're able to send a tweet as well to follow up. It is such an easy way, almost kind of like a petition where you sign your name to something and send it off. It has that much power whenever you collectively have so many people around the country sending their legislators letters. The second way that you can get involved is to attend that National ALS Advocacy Conference that I mentioned. It offers a great way to learn about the latest in public policy, research, and care services. And I'll go over that in a little bit as well. And then lastly, sharing your story. So sharing your story in front of members of Congress can make a huge impact to secure that funding that we need and passing legislation to really improve the lives of those in our community. So I'll go over our action alerts here. So this is a screenshot of what it looks like when you're in the portal. Again, you fill out just, your name and your address so that they can get who your officials are, and it seriously takes 2 seconds. So this arrow right here is where you would go. And after this, I can put the hyperlink in the chat as well, so you have access to it if you're not writing it down. And we can get all this information to you after. But so we use a site called Quorum, and it makes things so easy. So once you sign up, this is the page that you will see. And then you can see that there are already some actions that you can take. So you would select the ones that you want, and the arrow that just showed up, you hit that blue right button. And then the next page that we go into is what you'll go into. So this one is, asking Congress to co-sponsor one of our bills that we are introducing. So as you can see, our senators are on there, and then my particular representative is Representative Connor Lamb, so that's why that shows up, but yours might be different, and you'll have all that on there based on your mailing address. And so all you do is, and then as you can see that second arrow at the bottom there, it has all these pre-formed letters. So you are able to edit them if you want, but if you just want to send them and make it easy on yourself, you can as well. So then you'd click that blue Submit Selected Letters button there, and then you're done, unless you want to send a tweet. But that's seriously as easy as it gets, is, just in a couple clicks of a button, sending that appeal to your members of Congress. As I mentioned, the National ALS Advocacy Conference is, one of the largest conferences of the year. Typically, we're able to go to DC with hundreds of other people living with ALS and staff and advocates around the country. Obviously, in recent years, that hasn't been the case. And for this year, unfortunately, there are visitor restrictions at the US Capitol complex, which means that we need to have this virtual again this year. But hopefully there will be opportunities in the future for us all to visit in DC together again. So if you're interested in that in the future, definitely let us know, and we'll put you on our interest list. But save the date, because the conference is held from June 14th to 16th. And on the next slide here, I'll just show you kind of a sample schedule. So there will be a series of live sessions for each day, just about an hour and a half, 90-minute sessions each day, if you're interested. So this is kind of how that is broken down. And to sign up for this. I believe it's opening on May 18th. So keep an eye out for that invite. Okay, so that was kind of our federal advocacy in a nutshell, but we also do state advocacy here at Pennsylvania. So at the state level, the ALS Association Western Pennsylvania, our chapter, and Greater Philadelphia chapters advocate for funding to help support services and programs such as our equipment loan program, our multidisciplinary clinics, and our respite care program. So for state advocacy, we've been partnering with the Greater Philadelphia chapter and receiving this funding from the state since 2011. And so this is kind of the general timeline of how this all works and what we do. Every year, the governor for Pennsylvania zeroes out, we're included as a line item in the budget. So again, kind of like the federal appropriations funding, we need to get in early. So we go in March and we have some pre-meetings to tell them about our initial ask and, you know, how much funding we would like to receive, which is split between the two chapters so that we can, you know, assist everybody living with ALS in Pennsylvania. So then April or May, you know, is kind of during the pandemic has become, you know, a bit more busy for us. Usually there'd be kind of a little break between the March and May, but we have actually started a virtual day of action during the pandemic. So this allows community members to have the tools to contact their legislators via phone, email, or social media, because obviously we weren't going in person to Perrisburg during the pandemic. So we created this way so that anybody could, you know, contact their legislators from the comfort of their own home. And then in May, so staff and advocates trekked to Harrisburg for the annual state advocacy meeting for state legislators. And we provide, you know, not only press for state funding, but also provide education because our state legislators are there for us too. And we want to make sure that they have all the information about ALS, you know, in case one of their constituents needs assistance. So then December, the Pennsylvania state budget is typically passed in this month. And this is the time of year when we see how much funding we'll receive from the Department of Health for the next fiscal year. So going on and the ways to get involved with state advocacy. So like I mentioned, the virtual day of action, it's so easy. It allows, you know, anybody interested in sharing their story and contacting legislators from the comfort of your own home. This year it's going to be on May 18th. And we are going to provide a toolkit that has everything you need, phone call scripts, email scripts, tips for storytelling. If you want to post on social media, we'll have social media graphics. And of course, you know, finding out the contact information for your legislature. So it's so easy, you know, you can just go in, have your address in, find out who your legislators are if you don't know, and then use a pre-formatted email template, pop your story in if you wish, and then, you know, contact them that way. And it just, you know, really puts it in the mind that, you know, people care about this issue and that the funding truly is desired and needed. And then the second way you can get involved is through in-district meetings. Local district meetings are a great way for those interested to get involved if you know, can't make the journey to Harrisburg or would prefer just to stay local. And we can help set those up with you. We can attend them with you if you like, if you're interested in going that route. You know, still meeting in person, but want to do it on more of a local level. And then of course, we also have our Perrisburg meeting. So we'll go, this year is May 25th. We already have a small group who is going, but this will be an opportunity just like DC in the future, where if you're interested, you know, feel free to let us know and we can put you on a list and get you to Harrisburg to share your story in person. So I know I've been talking about sharing your story a lot and, you know, what does that mean and what does that look like? So I just wanted to share a little bit about that experience. And because, you know, it can be quite emotional, obviously, you know, framing your personal story and telling it to strangers in a room. It can be a lot. And I'll, you know, maybe have Brett, after I'm done here, share a little bit about his experience and him and Janine's experience. So, the main thing is framing your story and how do the issues affect you personally. So, when you're crafting your story, there will always be somebody, a staff member, myself, or somebody else in the room who's talking about our legislative asks. You don't have to know anything about politics or, really what we're asking, any of the programs that I mentioned, like the Department of Defense, or, how much funding that we're asking for. All you need to know is kind of your personal story and how it affects you. Because there will always be somebody there making, more of those official asks. And what you're there for is lending your expertise and your personal experience with the disease. So, telling the office your experience with ALS is just kind of that, first part. And of course, if you're comfortable, you can frame the asks through your personal experience for maximum impact. So, for example, like I was talking about the state funding and how it helps to fund our equipment loan program. Well, if, you or your loved one has received a piece of equipment from the chapter loaned out, well, that's an experience that you can frame. It's like, if you have a power wheelchair that you received from the chapter, you can talk about that and you can say without it, your quality of life might not be as high. And so with that equipment, it's, crucial to your quality of life. And so is the funding so that we can keep providing families this level of care. So that's just, one of many examples. And then, speaking from the heart, people on Capitol Hill, those in Harrisburg, they hear a multitude of different, pitches, I guess I could say pitches, or just advocates coming into their office, talking about animal rights or oil drilling, all kinds of different things throughout the day. So connecting them on a human level and speaking plainly and kindly and from the heart is really important, because they are kind of switching through different channels throughout the day. So to make yourself heard, this is such an important disease to, get help for. And they need to know that and to kind of, take them and be like, I am a human and this is why I'm here and this is why this is so important to me. So that, they are apt to listen. And of course, it is not always the most comfortable experience talking to your senators or, being in that room again with strangers who you might not know. You can get very nervous, but you would just remember that you are the expert. So if you're feeling nervous during a meeting or even on the phone with your legislator, just remember that you're the expert in the room about this. And this is your story and your experience. Okay. So I am going to stop sharing here if you have any questions. And Brett, did you have anything else to add about advocacy or your experience that you would want somebody to know?
Sure. I will say that the schedule looks very busy, but it's spread out and it's easy to put some time aside to attend meetings and do the actual advocacy. So it's don't think it's gonna be a second job to you because it's easy to keep up with. Also, I'm not a political person, and in spite of what you see on the news, we participate in the process the way it was designed, and we've accomplished a whole bunch of great things. You can do it. I'm about 3.5 years after diagnosis, And my wife Janine is, we're a team, the two of us, so we participate in everything together. It's a real nice way for us to share our time. Also, neither one of us can work any longer. So all the different things we do with the chapter provide us with activities, something to do, meeting with all the staff. They're really great. They're always upbeat. And if you're having a tough day, they'll pick up. And we always have a great time meeting them. Also, we get a lot of satisfaction from having a walk team and attending all the different events like the baseball game. Gets you out of the house. I know that my disease is gonna run its course, but I know that what we do is gonna help someone, raising funds and awareness for research, and more in the immediate raising money for the chapter and all their services. So I know that the both of us really enjoy it, and we get a lot of satisfaction from it. Every month we have a support group on Zoom. It's only an hour and it's on a Saturday. There's one group for just pals and one group for caregivers. And we all just chit chat and talk about our experience. We talk about different medications and different equipment, and you can share your story with people that really understand. It's never depressing. We don't like grumble, although if you need to grumble, you're more than welcome. But we always wind up laughing, and it's a very liberating experience. So you can get a hold of the chapter to find out when the next meeting is going to be. That's all.
Thank you, Brett. That was very informative and helpful. Thank you for mentioning that. All right, well, I think that's all we have for you today. There are some links in the chat if you want to take a look at those before we end. But if you have any other questions, please reach out to the chapter. The care services team can definitely get you in touch with us if you didn't get our emails earlier. But I look forward to working with all of you. I'm sure Kelsey is too. And yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out. We appreciate you.